You wake up. The world hasn't even opened its eyes yet. The sky is still dark, the air still heavy, and there's a silence that feels almost ancient. This is where everything begins. Before the notifications, before the noise, before the chaos of the world tries to claim your mind, this is your battlefield. The way you rise determines the way you live. Most people roll over, grab their phones, and let the world program them before they even take their first conscious breath. But not you. Not anymore. Because this time, you're choosing to start your day like a stoic, grounded, calm, unshaken. You're not waking up to chase pleasure or approval. You're waking up to master yourself. That's the difference between existing and living, between reacting and ruling. A stoic morning is not just a routine, it's a declaration of war against weakness. When Marcus Aurelius woke each morning, he reminded himself, "You will meet people who are meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, deceitful, jealous, and surly." Imagine that. The Emperor of Rome began his day not with comfort, but with preparation. He understood that to live with peace, you must begin with discipline. You don't need luxury. You don't need motivation. You need structure, silence, and strength. The Stoic morning is simple, not because it's easy, but because it's deliberate. It's about reclaiming your mind before the world hijacks it. You start your day with intention, not impulse. Before you touch your phone, you touch your breath. Before you listen to others, you listen to yourself. The Stoic morning begins with one thought: I am alive, and that is enough. You open your eyes, not to rush into the day, but to acknowledge the gift of existence. You survived the night, and that's no small thing. Seneca wrote, "Begin at once to live, and count each separate day as a separate life." A Stoic doesn't wake up hoping for a good day. He wakes up determined to create one. Gratitude becomes your first discipline. You don't need a sunrise over the ocean to be thankful. The mere ability to breathe, to think, to move, that's your wealth. Gratitude disarms anxiety. It reminds you that the world owes you nothing, and yet you already have everything you need to begin. After gratitude comes stillness. Before the world gets loud, you must become silent. Sit, breathe. Watch your thoughts pass like clouds. No judgment, no reaction. This is where most people fail. They can't sit alone with themselves for even 5 minutes without reaching for distraction. But solitude is the forge where clarity is born. When you face the noise within you, the noise outside loses its power. The Stoics didn't meditate to escape life. They meditated to dominate it. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Morning stillness is your training ground for freedom. You learn to command your attention. You learn to separate what you can control from what you can't. You learn to be unmoved. Now, movement. The Stoic morning honors the body as the vessel of the mind. Strength is not vanity. It's discipline made visible. You don't train because you hate yourself. You train because you respect yourself. You move your body not to impress, but to express control. The act of discipline in one area leaks into every other. When you conquer the first battle of the morning, whether it's push-ups, a run, cold water, you send a message to your brain. I command, you obey. That message rewires everything. It tells your subconscious that you are in charge. The world doesn't shape you. You shape yourself. Then, reflection. Write. Not for others, for yourself. Marcus Aurelius's Meditations wasn't written for publication. It was written as a mirror. Every morning he inspected his mind the way a soldier inspects his armor. What are you thinking today? What fears linger? What virtues will you live by? Writing clarifies the soul. It takes your thoughts, wild, scattered, emotional, and gives them order. When you write, you confront yourself honestly. That's where wisdom begins, in the brutal confrontation between who you are and who you're pretending to be. A Stoic morning is not about productivity, it's about perspective. The modern world worships speed. The Stoic worships control. You don't rush. You move with purpose. You don't check messages. You check your mindset. You don't ask, "What do I have to do today?" You ask, "How will I show up today?" The Stoic doesn't measure his day by success or failure, but by virtue. Was I patient when tested? Was I calm when challenged? Was I grateful when blessed? That's the standard, and it changes everything. As the sun rises, so does your awareness. The warmth touches your face. You remember that life isn't happening to you. It's happening through you. You are not separate from nature. You are part of it. The Stoic sees the morning not as an obligation, but as a sacred ritual. You don't control the weather, the world, or other people, but you control how you greet the day. And that greeting defines your fate. You stand in the light, inhale deeply, and remind yourself, "I will face whatever comes," not with fear, but with fortitude. That's not optimism. That's armor. Each part of your morning routine becomes symbolic. The cold shower becomes your test of discomfort. The breathwork becomes your reminder that peace is always one inhale away. The journaling becomes your dialogue with eternity. You're not just preparing for a day. You're preparing for life. And when you approach every morning like this, nothing surprises you anymore. Bad news doesn't shake you. Rude people don't offend you. Setbacks don't break you, because you've already conquered yourself before the world even started. In this modern age, most people wake up like victims, already overwhelmed before the day begins. But the Stoic wakes like a warrior, silent, calm, and ready. There's no rush, no panic, no comparison, just focus, just presence. That's why his energy feels different. You can sense it in the way he moves, slow, deliberate, grounded. He's not trying to escape life. He's mastering it. The Stoic morning isn't about perfection. Some days you'll fail. Some days you'll wake late, or lose focus, or give in to distraction. But the Stoic doesn't hate himself for slipping. He simply returns to the path. Every day is a new chance to begin again. As Epictetus said, first say to yourself what you would be, then do what you have to do. That's the beauty of this practice. It's endless rebirth. You can fall 1,000 times and still rise with grace because your foundation isn't built on outcomes. It's built on principles. So tomorrow, when you wake, don't rush into the noise. Don't let the world own your first thought. Sit up, breathe, and whisper to yourself, "I'm in control." And mean it. The first few minutes after waking are sacred. Protect them like a soldier guards his post. Because that's where your life is shaped, not in the big decisions, but in these small, quiet victories that no one sees. By the time others are still half asleep, you've already set your course. You've centered your mind, disciplined your body, and anchored your soul. You've chosen calm over chaos, purpose over distraction, strength over comfort. That's not just a morning routine. That's a revolution. The Stoic doesn't need a miracle to change his life. He just needs a morning. And when the world finally wakes up, loud, reactive, lost, you'll already be 3 steps ahead. Not because you're faster, but because you're grounded. You've met the day on your terms. You've built your peace before the storm arrived. And that peace? That's your superpower. The Stoic morning routine isn't about adding things to your life. It's about removing the noise that hides who you truly are. Beneath the distractions, the anxiety, the endless scrolling, there's a stillness that's been waiting for you. Every morning when you wake, you have a choice: to live like everyone else, or to live like a Stoic, to be owned by your habits, or to own yourself. The choice is yours. But remember this: how you greet the morning determines how you greet the world. So when the alarm rings tomorrow, don't think of it as the end of your sleep. Think of it as the beginning of your reign. Rise with calm, move with purpose, think with clarity, speak with virtue, live with discipline. And as the light of dawn hits your face, remind yourself, this is where strength is born. Not in the noise of victory, but in the silence of preparation. Because a Stoic doesn't wait for the day to be easy. He makes himself unshakable, so no day can break him. That's the Stoic morning routine. That's how everything changes.